Scientists have made a groundbreaking discovery deep in a cave in South Africa, the bones of what looked to be a new human-like species. They're thought to be more than 3 million years old, and officials say the find could change the way we think about our ancient relatives.
Modern forensic techniques are revealing the surprising answer because some of the people who came here never left.
Science is full of surprises, right? I mean, who wouldn't be fascinated by the mysteries of our planet? So, from a newly discovered humanoid species in a cave in South Africa to a 3.2 million-year-old human relative found in Ethiopia.
No, there are 300 to 400 burials in the general region.
Stick around, as today we're diving into the mind-boggling discovery of a new human species living underground that's terrifying scientists everywhere.
The largest pyramid in Teotihuacan hides a surprising secret.
1. A brand new humanoid species is discovered in a cave. Diving into a cave might sound like an adventure reserved for the movies, but for paleoanthropologists, it's just another day at the office. Deep within South Africa's Rising Star cave system, a fascinating find is shaking up what we thought we knew about our ancient relatives. This isn't just any discovery. It's about Homo naledi, a fascinating species that's part human, part something else entirely. In 2015, this cave first hit the headlines with its trove of H. naledi fossils. Fast forward to 4 years later, and the wonders of the Dinaledi chamber continue to unravel. Lee Berger, a name synonymous with groundbreaking paleoanthropology, dropped a bombshell on September 13, 2017. His team unearthed new skeletons that could very well rewrite parts of our human story. These remains were snugly located at the base of the chute, a narrow vertical drop that modern explorers shimmy down. A heart-stopping 40 feet in a gap, just 7.5 inches wide. What makes H. naledi so intriguing? They're like a puzzle pieced together with bits of both ancient and modern. Imagine a creature with human-like feet perfect for striding across the plains, yet shoulders and a torso that screams tree climber like some of our oldest ape ancestors. This odd mix hints that they could have navigated through challenging terrains, perhaps even maneuvering down into the cave themselves. This notion spins an exciting yarn about these beings possibly having a tradition of mortuary practices, much like the Neanderthals. Were they using this secluded chamber as a final resting place for their dead? This behavior points to a social complexity that's quite unexpected, especially considering their small-brained profile compared to other hominins. Adding more layers to this mystery, on September 26, 2017, the site revealed even more with findings of teeth, skull fragments, hand bones, and part of a rib cage, likely belonging to a single individual. These pieces of the past are still waiting for their stories to be dated precisely, potentially placing them between 236,000 and 335,000 years old. Every fossil pulled from that debris cone not only provides a glimpse into the life of H. naledi, but also cements the Rising Star Cave as a cornerstone of paleoanthropological research. With ongoing studies, who knows what other secrets are buried within those ancient rocks? That being said, this is just a stepping stone to discovering more about the human species. Let's move on to the next finding. 2. A new human ancestor species was discovered in the Philippines. Who knew that a tiny island in the Philippines held secrets to our ancient human cousins? Scientists have recently turned the spotlight on Luzon Island, where they've uncovered bones and teeth of a newly discovered human ancestor species dubbed Homo Lenensis. This pint-sized ancestor, standing just about 3 to 4 feet tall, has stirred up quite the buzz in the paleoanthropological community. The discovery comprises 13 artifacts from 2 adults and 1 child, all excavated from Calao Cave. These remains, dating back a whopping 50,000 to 67,000 years, reveal that Homo Lenensis shared the planet with other early humans like Neanderthals and Denisovans, not to mention the similarly small Homo floresiensis from Indonesia. Now, let's talk features because Homo Lenensis is a bit of a mixtape of ancient human traits. They sported double-rooted premolars similar to those of Homo erectus, a species known from Africa and Asia. However, their molars were tinier than tiny, smaller even than those of Homo floresiensis, suggesting they were even more diminutive than their already petite relatives. The curved finger and toe bones of Homo Lenensis hint at a lifestyle that combines climbing with walking. Think less Tarzan and more agile tree hopper, with a knack for upright strolling. This suggests they were adapting to a life both in the trees and on the ground, much like the ancient Australopithecus. The mere presence of Homo Lenensis on Luzon Island throws a curveball at our understanding of early human migration. Traditionally, scientists believed Homo erectus reached Indonesia using land bridges, but Luzon's separation from these routes suggests early hominins might have braved ocean waters. Were they accidental castaways, swept away by extreme weather, or did they deliberately voyage across the sea? This could mean our ancestors were more adventurous than we previously thought. And while the site yielded valuable bones and teeth, 2 toe bones, 2 finger bones, 7 teeth, a part of a femur, and a foot bone, the humid conditions in Kalau Cave dashed any hopes of extracting DNA. This leaves us hanging a bit in terms of confirming their exact place on the human family tree. Some experts suggest these remains might represent a distinct lineage, while others think they could be a locally adapted population of Homo erectus. What else might be hiding in the nooks and crannies of our planet's caves? The next discovery seems to answer that question. 3. Ancient skeletons found in Pompeii ruins. Sometimes history offers us a rare glimpse into moments frozen in time, and the latest discovery at Pompeii does just that. Nearly 2,000 years ago, Mount Vesuvius unleashed a catastrophic eruption, capturing the lives of its victims in the ash and debris. Recently, archaeologists unearthed the skeletal remains of a woman and a young man, casting light on the tragic events that unfolded during those final, desperate moments. Pompeii, once a thriving resort city just 6 miles from the rumbling Vesuvius, was home to 10,000 to 20,000 souls. The eruption in AD 79 proved catastrophic, claiming about 2,000 lives, instantly frozen in time by the pyroclastic flow, a lethal concoction of volcanic gas, lava, and ash. The recent excavation revealed 2 victims in a compact 9 by 11.5 foot room within a house, shedding light on their last desperate actions. The woman, aged between 35 and 45, was found near a bed. Her remains lay with valuables like gold, silver, and bronze coins, and gold and pearl earrings, alongside a key that might have belonged to a chest across the room. This suggests she may have been trying to secure her possessions before fleeing. The young man, aged between 15 and 20, met a grimmer fate, crushed under a collapsed wall near what seemed to be an escape route. Their surroundings tell a story of abrupt endings and hurried attempts to escape. The room contained a 3-legged stool, a chest, and a wooden service table topped with marble, cluttered with glass, bronze, and ceramic tableware. Archaeologists used plaster casts to recreate the furniture and layout, vividly bringing the room back to life, as it would have appeared in those final moments. This poignant find is part of a broader effort to dive deeper into Pompeii's past, extending excavations beyond the ancient city walls. Recent digs have also brought to light another victim's skeleton, exquisite frescoes, and inscriptions that piece together the day-to-day and ultimately tragic lives of Pompeii's inhabitants. As we peel back layers of ash and history, what else might the next uncovered wall or room tell us about those who lived in the shadow of Vesuvius? But can it really be compared to the next unexpected find a boy in Utah discovered in his own backyard? 4. Utah boy finds human remains in backyard. Digging in your backyard might usually turn up a few old coins or a handful of worms. But for 14-year-old Ali Erturk from Salt Lake City, Utah, a routine project unearthed a slice of history about 1,000 years old. Ali was working on a trout pond in his dad's garden when his shovel struck something far more significant than dirt. The remains of a Native American who lived a millennium ago. When Ali and his family realized the bone wasn't from any backyard animal, they dialed up the experts. Soon, the Utah Department of Heritage and Arts was on the scene, with archaeologists elbow-deep in the soil, meticulously excavating the site. Forensic teams were brought in, confirming that these were indeed human remains, giving Ali a first-hand lesson in archaeology that beats any classroom lecture. Jeffrey Fada, a department spokesperson, noted that the Salt Lake Valley has been home to humans for thousands of years. This rich history means that Ali's find wasn't just luck, but a possibility waiting to happen. Discoveries like these are not everyday occurrences, but they're not rare either. On average, about 6 reports of ancient human remains pop up in Utah each year, turning ordinary citizens into accidental historians. As the dig continued, the forensic team got to work determining the ancient individual's gender and cultural affiliations. This information will be crucial for the Utah Division of Indian Affairs, which might help link the remains to modern Native American tribes. Imagine the awe of finding out that your backyard held secrets to your area's ancient inhabitants. Secrets that might even reconnect living communities with their ancestral pasts. If you think that's something, wait until you hear about the ancient graves found in Mexico. 5. Mysterious 2,000-year-old graves, pyramid ruins found in Mexico. You'd think finding an old coin in your backyard was a jackpot, but imagine the surprise of construction workers in eastern Mexico when they stumbled upon an ancient settlement. Not just any old relics, but 30 skeletons in the ruins of a pyramid thought to be around 2,000 years old. This exciting discovery was made in the town of Jaltipan, southeast of Veracruz, and has since been buzzing with archaeologists and historians diving into its secrets. The National Anthropology and History Institute, INAH, announced that these finds include not only skeletons, but also an array of intriguing artifacts, clay figurines, jade beads, mirrors, and even animal remains. The settlement, dating from around the 1st century AD to between 600 and 700 AD, opens a window into a past civilization that's mostly remained a mystery until now. Among the unearthed treasures, the skeletons, which include at least 2 infants, are particularly telling. They were found with deer antlers and bones that could be from dogs, coyotes, deer, fish, and birds, buried possibly as companions for the journey into the afterlife. Even more fascinating, archaeologists uncovered fossilized teeth from a megalodon-type shark, hinting that these ancient people might have been early fossil enthusiasts or collectors. The cultural clues left behind are just as mixed and mystifying. Some of the figurines and brickwork hint at Mayan influences, while the pottery seems to link back to Teotihuacan. Could Jaltipan have been a melting pot of cultures, or was it home to one distinct group? More digging and analysis are expected to shed light on this. Not to be overshadowed, a 39-foot-tall pyramid nearby really cements the site's historical significance. Constructed from stone slabs, its architectural style mirrors that of the Mayans, or perhaps Tajin. This is a rare find in southern Veracruz, where pre-Columbian stone structures are as scarce as hen's teeth. Even the bricks found at the site resemble those from the Mayan city of Comacalco, a good 74 miles away in Tabasco. This mix of artifacts and architectural styles paints a picture of a diverse ancient community and poses thrilling questions about the interactions between different cultural groups over millennia. Who were these people? How did they live? And what can they teach us about the ancient world? And just when you think you've heard it all, the past always has another shocker waiting around the corner in this next discovery. 6. The skeletons beneath Stonehenge. Researchers have been digging deep into the secrets of those buried at Stonehenge, the world-famous prehistoric site, and what they've found is truly fascinating. The study splashed across the pages of scientific reports takes us way beyond the usual chats about how Stonehenge was built. Instead, it dives into who might have helped erect this monumental structure. We're talking about a journey back to 3000 BC, with mysteries wrapped up in cremated remains that have long puzzled scientists. Normally, the intense heat from cremation wipes out any trace of organic material like DNA, making these ancient ashes a tough nut to crack. But fear not, lead researcher Christophe Snoek and his savvy team from Vrije Universiteit Brussels have cracked the code. They've employed strontium isotopic analysis to snoop around the geographic origins of these remains. Thanks to permissions from Historic England and English Heritage, the team pored over the bones of 25 individuals found in what is known as the Aubrey Holes. These bones had been reburied there in the 1920s by Colonel William Hawley, giving them another layer of history to unfold. Their findings? Well, it turns out that 40% of those enigmatic Stonehenge builders likely hailed from Western Britain, including the areas around West Wales where the smaller bluestones of Stonehenge originated. Interestingly, these folks weren't locals from the surrounding Wessex region. the plot thickens when examining the last 10 years of these individuals' lives. 15 were Wessex locals, while the remaining 10 seem to have spent their last decade roaming Western Britain. Even the wood used for cremation tells a tale of their travels. Locals were likely set aflame with wood gathered from the open landscapes around Stonehenge, whereas the Welsh crowd might have been cremated using dense woodland fuel. This little detail hints that some remains might have even traveled from Wales for their final resting place at Stonehenge. This discovery not only sheds light on the Stonehenge community, but also paints a picture of vast networks and movement across as much as 140 miles during the Neolithic period. The people and materials of that era were far more connected than we might have imagined, collaborating across regions to build and utilize Stonehenge. Thanks to modern archaeological methods and a bit of detective work, researchers like Snuck are bringing us closer to understanding the lives and legacies of those who stood where we can only visit. Who knows what other secrets lie buried, waiting to tell their tales? 7. A new human species found in China could be our closest evolutionary relative. Browsing through history books often turns up nothing more thrilling than dust, but every once in a while, we hit the jackpot in our quest to piece together humanity's ancient family tree. Enter the Dragonman, a new twig on our complex evolutionary branch that's rewriting what we know about where we come from. This fascinating tale begins in northeastern China, where a skull preserved for over 140,000 years lay hidden in a well for nearly a century. Discovered in Harbin in 1933, it was tucked away to keep it safe from the Japanese army during their occupation. Fast forward to 2018, and this relic from the past finally saw the light of day, handed over to Professor Ji Qiang of Hebei GEO University. This ancient skull, known officially as Homo Lenensis or Dragonman, didn't just sit around collecting dust. No, it challenged our entire understanding of human evolution. Belonging to a large-brained male in his 50s with deep-set eyes and a striking brow ridge, this skull shares more DNA with us modern humans than with the Neanderthals. It seems Dragonman is not our cousin, but more like a long-lost sibling. The researchers dubbed this new species Homo Lenensis from Longjiang, or Dragon River, the local nickname for the region. It's believed that Dragonman lived in a hunter-gatherer community, thriving on a forested floodplain. This guy was possibly roaming through what would have been a rough neighborhood back in the day, well adapted to survive and thrive in what we might consider extreme conditions. Now, hold on to your hats, because when they analyzed the Harbin cranium alongside over 600 different traits and plugged them into an evolutionary model, what popped out was nothing short of revolutionary. The findings suggest that Dragonman and some other Chinese fossils represent a third distinct lineage of ancient humans. Yes, a whole new branch separate from Neanderthals and us. Other related fossils, like a 200,000-year-old skull from Dali province in China and a 160,000-year-old jaw from Tibet, add more pieces to this prehistoric puzzle. With Dragonman in the mix, we now have a clearer picture of a diverse cast of human species that once walked the Earth over 100,000 years ago, from Neanderthals to Denisovans, and, of course, the modern humans. While some experts are buzzing about the possibility that Dragonman could actually be a Denisovan, we'll need more genetic testing to confirm that theory. Isn't it incredible how one skull can stir up much debate and excitement? 8. A 3.2 million-year-old human relative found in Ethiopia. In 1974, scientists in Ethiopia stumbled upon something extraordinary. They found a fossil that's not just any old set of bones, but a whopping 40% of a skeleton from an ancient human ancestor, a female Australopithecus afarensis, whom they affectionately named Lucy after the catchy Beatles tune. Fast forward through years of dusting off dirt and meticulous study, Lucy gives us a spectacular peek into the life of a species that roamed the Earth around 3.2 million years ago. So, who was Lucy? Well, she wasn't the tallest in the room, standing about 3.3 feet, 1 meter, tall with an ape-like face and a brain about 1/3 the size of ours today. But don't let her size fool you. Lucy was kind of a big deal. After over 2 decades of analysis, researchers concluded that Lucy and her pals walked upright. Yes, on 2 feet, just like us. Now, enter Dr. Ashley L.A. Wiseman, a research associate from the University of Cambridge, who decided to take things a step further. Dr. Wiseman got crafty with some high-tech science, using polygonal muscle modeling, the same tech used for studying extinct reptiles, no less, to whip up a digital musculoskeletal model of Lucy's leg and pelvis. This wasn't based on guesses. She used actual scans of Lucy's fossil combined with MRI and CT data from modern humans to get it just right. It turns out Lucy's thigh was about 75% muscle, significantly more beefed up than ours today. This extra muscle mass wasn't just for show. It likely helped her navigate the challenging terrains of the African savanna, from dodging trees in forested areas to strutting across open grasslands. The 3D model also revealed something fascinating about Lucy's knees. Her knee extensor muscles were strong enough to let her stand tall and upright, much like we do today, despite her shorter legs and wider, plate-like pelvis. This suggests that Lucy had a unique way of moving, a blend of walking on two legs and climbing, traits perfectly suited for both the ground and the trees. What's really intriguing is that while Lucy's posture did resemble that of modern humans more than it did chimpanzees, her walking style was unlike any living species we see today. Her reconstructed movements offer us a window into the evolution of walking on two legs, illustrating how our ancient ancestors might have tackled their world on 2 feet. Isn't it amazing how old bones can tell us such detailed stories about life millions of years ago? 9. 100,000-year-old Neanderthal remains discovered in cave. Can you, for a moment, imagine yourself stepping back in time, right into the heart of Neanderthal history? That's exactly what happened years back in Guattari Cave near Rome, where archaeologists uncovered the fossilized remains of 9 Neanderthals. One of these early humans roamed the Earth between 90,000 and 100,000 years ago, with the others dating back to around 50,000 to 68,000 years ago. This find was a jackpot, adding even more historical clout to a site first thrust into the limelight in 1939 with the discovery of a Neanderthal skull. Fast forward to today, and Guattari Cave is now a goldmine for understanding our ancient cousins. The team's findings read like a roll call from a Stone Age saga. 1 woman, 7 men, and a young boy. Turns out this cave wasn't just a home to Neanderthals. It was also a hangout for Stone Age hyenas. Yes, hyenas. These creatures likely saw the cave as a perfect spot to snag a few unsuspecting Neanderthals, particularly those sick or elderly. And it's not just Neanderthals and hyenas that were unearthed. The cave was a veritable treasure trove, with remains of rhinoceroses, giant deer, and wild horses also found. An earthquake or other natural event sealed the cave over 60,000 years ago, perfectly preserving its contents until now. Now, the plan is to dive into the DNA of these Neanderthals to get the inside scoop on their lives and how they adapted to their environment. Did you know that their diet included cereals? This detail isn't just a dietary footnote. It could have fueled their brain development. And let's debunk a myth while we're at it. Previous notions of ritual cannibalism among Neanderthals were tossed aside. It looks like the damage on one of the skulls was the handiwork of hyenas, not other Neanderthals. Living from around 400,000 years ago until their disappearance about 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals had a firm foothold across Europe and parts of Asia. The abundance of artifacts found, including burned bones, carved stones, and bones with cut marks, tells us these folks weren't just surviving. They were thriving, with cooking, jewelry making, and even burials in their cultural repertoire. Mayor Giuseppe Sciboni and the local community are on a mission to transform Guattari Cave into a Neanderthal study center and a hotspot for tourists. They are banking on European Union funding to spotlight this site as a cultural and educational gem. With such a vivid glimpse into the past, it's clear that the Neanderthals were more sophisticated than we once thought. What do you think we'll uncover next in this ancient cave? Stay tuned, because history has more secrets to reveal. 10. Massive trauma found on 1,000-year-old South American mummies. Thanks to cutting-edge 3D computed tomography, 3D CT scans, researchers have shed light on some rather violent episodes from pre-Columbian South America. This intriguing study zoomed in on 3 naturally mummified bodies, perfectly preserved by the arid environments typical of southern South America. These conditions are so dry, they suck up body fluids, halting decay and leaving behind well-preserved mummies for modern science to explore. Let's start with the first mummy, a young man from the Arica culture in northern Chile, who was part of a fishing community. He lived sometime between 996 and 1147 CE, and was in his 20s at the time of his death. Although tuberculosis had scarred his lungs, it was a severe head injury and a stab in the back that ultimately ended his life. Then, there are the other two mummies from Arequipa in southwestern Peru, now resting in the Art and History Museum of Delémont, Switzerland. The male's time came between 902 and 994 CE, and it wasn't a peaceful exit. His cervical spine showed massive trauma, indicative of a lethal blow to the neck. As for the female, who lived between 1224 and 1282 CE, her skeletal injuries suggest disturbances that likely occurred after her death, possibly during burial rites. These high-resolution scans open a new window into the physical traumas that these individuals endured. They highlight not just the personal stories of the mummies, but also hint at broader patterns of interpersonal violence within their communities. It's fascinating to see how these ancient injuries, invisible to the naked eye, can now be studied in such detail, giving us a clearer picture of the challenges these individuals faced in their lifetimes. What do you think about the discovery of these new human species living underground? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video intriguing, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more fascinating discoveries, and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.